This is The Wolf in a Suit by Rene's Romance Stories. I shouldn't have signed the contract, but in my defense, the paper caught fire halfway through the signature, and the lawyer pretended that was normal. If you believe HR should warn people when the job includes possible blood pacts, go ahead and hit subscribe, because this is where my life stops being corporate and starts being paranormal. My name is Mira Vale, 27, sarcastic PR consultant, professional extinguisher of billionaire scandals. And the wolf in the $1,000 suit sitting across from me? Yeah, he thinks he owns me. And the terrifying part? My late mother agreed. I always thought rock bottom would look messier, like me sobbing in a Walmart parking lot or shaving my head Britney style. Instead, it looked like a glossy glass elevator rising toward the penthouse of Blackridge Tower, the tallest and rudest-looking skyscraper in the city. I adjusted my blazer, stabbed the PH button again like that would make it go faster, and muttered, "Congratulations, Mira. You're about to meet the world's youngest, hottest corporate disaster." Elias Blackridge, 30-something billionaire, CEO of Blackridge Global, known for mergers, acquisitions, and arresting glare that could curdle milk. 2 weeks ago, he allegedly threatened to throw a senator off a balcony. His reputation tanked. My phone rang. And now here I was, the PR consultant hired to clean him up, polish him, humanize him. Basically, turn a wolf into a golden retriever. The elevator dinged. A security checkpoint waited. Sleek desk, 2 guards, a discreet weapons scanner that I swear hummed an ancient chant. One guard looked me up and down. Name? Mira Vale? He scanned a tablet. You're cleared. Mr. Blackridge is expecting you. Expecting me. Great. I love starting my week as a human sacrifice. Before I could breathe, the doors opened to the penthouse office. Dark marble, floor-to-ceiling windows, cold air conditioning that screamed, "I don't do warmth." Then I saw him. Elias Blackridge stood at the window, back turned, suit perfectly tailored to a body that definitely didn't get built by sitting in meetings. His hair was black, his posture predatory, and everything about him radiated silent danger. He spoke without turning. You're late. I blinked. It's 8:59. You were scheduled for 8:45. Your assistant emailed me 9. She was testing you. Is that a workplace hazard I should be aware of? He finally turned, and I swear, the air got sucked out of the room like the universe said, "Good luck, babe." His eyes were silver. Not light gray, not icy blue. Silver. Metallic. Reflective. Like a moonlit blade. We stared at each other. He looked unimpressed. I looked like I forgot how lungs worked. So, he said, tone flat as a morgue table. You're the one they sent to fix me. Unless you're hiding another billionaire with terrible impulse control behind your desk, yes. A ghost of a smirk. Barely there, but it counted. Sit. I sat. A folder slid toward me. Thick, heavy. Smelled faintly like old ink, and something else. Something metallic. This is your contract. I flipped it open and froze. Because the signature line, the one already signed, was my mother's. Celine Vale. And the ink shimmered like fresh blood. My voice cracked. Where did you get this? It was executed 22 years ago, Elias said. Your mother agreed that when the time came, her eldest daughter would serve as my consultant. I stared at him, horror flooding my veins. My mother has been dead for 9 years. Death doesn't void a blood contract. I snapped the folder shut. Explain. Now. His expression didn't change, but something flickered in those silver eyes. Something ancient, predatory, resigned. Your mother, he said slowly, knew what I am. I scoffed. Which is what exactly? A narcissist with a jawline? His gaze hardened. The lights dimmed. The temperature dropped. And for a split second, too fast to make sense, I saw it. A shadow behind his shape. Massive, fur-covered, eyes glowing like molten silver. A wolf. No, a monster. Then it vanished. Elias blinked once, as if bored. Your mind is stronger than expected. Most humans faint. I don't faint, I managed. I spiral. Very loudly. That matches your file. My file? Your psychological profile, your stress history, your medical records. I stood. You have my medical records? That's necessary. He leaned back in his chair, unfazed. You're here to save my empire, Ms. Vale. And to do that, you need to understand what I am protecting. What are you protecting? The senator you almost yeeted off a balcony? He gave me another nearly smirk. Not almost. I inhaled sharply. Are you confessing to a crime? A warning, he said. He trespassed into a restricted area. What area? The part of your office where you keep your silver-eyed wolf demon? He didn't deny it. He simply rose to his feet, slowly, deliberately, and crossed the space between us. I swear I could feel heat rolling off him. He stopped inches away. My world, he said quietly, is older than your laws. I am the alpha of an underground shifter empire. And your mother, Celine Vale, was one of the few humans who ever understood the cost of peace. My head spun. This is insane. Yes, he agreed. And yet, here you are. I swallowed hard, pulse racing. Why me? There are 1,000 PR consultants, none bound by blood. That contract, my mother would never, but the truth gnawed at me. She could have. She'd been secretive her whole life, always warning me, some debts follow the bloodline, Mira, even after death. Elias placed a pen on the folder. You're here, he said softly, because the scandal threatens more than stock prices. It threatens war. Oh, wonderful. I always wanted a job with geopolitical consequences. It is not optional. His voice deepened. If you refuse, the contract will claim its price. What kind of price? Blood, he said simply. My legs wobbled. And if I sign? His gaze locked with mine. Then I protect you. A chill ran through me. Not fear, not exactly. Something else. A pull, a thread I couldn't see but felt tightening. I whispered, from what? He leaned in, breath warm against my cheek. From everyone who wants what you are. What I am? Mira, he murmured. Your mother didn't just sign that contract. He touched the page with one finger. The ink glowed. She hid you. My heart slammed. From who? He smiled. Slow, terrifying, almost reverent. From me. I didn't run from his office, but my walk back to the elevator was definitely too fast to be legally categorized as calm. I stabbed the button 3 times. The elevator stayed closed, like it had joined a conspiracy with my anxiety. Behind me, I heard footsteps. Slow, measured, unbothered. Elias Blackridge. I didn't dismiss you, he said. I didn't turn around. Yeah, well, I dismissed myself. Very empowering. Might make it a habit. You signed nothing. Correct, because blood contracts were not part of my onboarding expectations. Neither were moonlit demon wolf apparitions, so we're both disappointed today. The elevator still didn't open. Of course it didn't. I can explain, he started. Nope. No explaining demonic HR paperwork before coffee. It's illegal. Or it should be. Mira. His voice wrapped around my name like velvet dipped in mourning. I finally turned. Big mistake. He was standing close. Too close. Close enough that the air between us felt charged, like static before a lightning strike. His silver eyes took me in, scanning my face like he was trying to read the fine print of my soul. Predator stare. Your mother entrusted you to me, he said. I lifted one eyebrow. Pretty bold of her, considering she failed to tell me about it. She couldn't. Why? Did she also sign an NDA in blood? His jaw ticked. Something like that. The elevator dinged. Finally. But Elias reached out and pressed his palm against the doorframe, blocking it open. Blocking me. Move, I said. No. Oh, fantastic, I deadpanned. Trapped in an elevator doorway with a supernatural CEO, this is exactly how my therapist told me I'd die. His lips twitched. You don't have a therapist. Excuse me? I snapped. Stop reading my file. Your tells are obvious. My tells are... I paused. Okay, rude, but fine. He stepped back just enough to let me into the elevator. Not out. In. I didn't step inside. I'm going home. You're going downstairs. Same thing. It is not. His tone dropped into something low and dark. The contract binds you to remain in my territory until the terms are fulfilled. I folded my arms. We haven't agreed to terms. His gaze dipped, just for a moment, to my hands, my pulse, the soft, frantic beat at my throat. I hate that he noticed. We will, he said. A shiver ran down my spine. Nope. Hard nope. No offense, I said, but you're giving real, I don't negotiate with hostages energy. My offer to protect you stands. I don't need protection. Yes, he said. You do. His certainty rattled me. From what, Elias? His answer came softly, almost regretfully. From them. The elevator doors closed behind him, the lights flickered, and for a moment, just a breath, I saw reflections that weren't mine or his. Shadowy silhouettes, yellow eyes, shapes that prowled, watching, waiting. Then whoosh, normal lighting returned. Great, I muttered. Visual hallucinations. Add that to my benefits package. Elias didn't smile this time. Those are not hallucinations. That's not comforting. You were meant to see them. Well, I'd like to unsee them. How do I unsubscribe? But he was already pressing a button on the elevator panel. Not lobby, not parking, but a sleek silver button labeled Sub-Level 9. Where are we going? I asked. To the truth. Oh, that sounds safe. The elevator descended, slowly, almost ceremonially, like we were sinking into a different world. I leaned against the mirrored wall and let out a long, suffering groan. Just to be clear, I said, when the job posting said dynamic work environment, this isn't what they meant. Elias stared straight ahead. Your sarcasm is a shield. Yep. You use it to hide fear. Double yep. You're afraid of me. I choked on pure defensiveness. Excuse you. I'm afraid of lots of things. Spiders, my student loan balance, that one shampoo bottle that keeps falling in the shower. You? You're just visually concerning. His mouth twitched again. I am not your enemy, Mira. Then why do you keep looming like you're auditioning for Alpha Dracula? He tilted his head. Alpha Dracula? You know, tall, dramatic, questionable dietary choices. He blinked at me, confused, genuinely confused, like no one had ever said something stupid to him before. Good. Consider me a pioneer. The elevator stopped. The doors opened to a hallway of black marble, silver lighting, and a faint scent of pine? Smoke? Something wild and sharp. It didn't feel corporate down here. It felt ancient. Elias stepped out. Stay close. Define close. He gave me a look. Closer than that. So I followed him. Through the hall, down another corridor, past doors marked with symbols I couldn't decipher. Runes, maybe? Claw marks? Moons. Every step deepened the wrongness in the air, like something old was exhaling. Not hostile, not friendly, just aware. We reached a metal door. He pressed his hand to a glowing circle. The seal hissed open, revealing not an office, a chamber. Circular, dim, lit by soft silver flames in floating lanterns. And in the center, a pedestal. On it lay a leather-bound book with a crimson ribbon. It belonged to your mother, Elias said. I stopped breathing. My mother? This... My voice cracked. Give it to me. He didn't move. Approach carefully. It will react to you. What does that mean? You'll see. I stepped toward it. The air tingled. My skin prickled. My chest tightened like something inside me was waking up. And then the book snapped open. Pages flipped on their own until they stopped on a name written in shimmering red. Mira Vale. My name. All of it. Written in ink that looked disturbingly like, please don't say that's blood, I whispered. It is. I asked you not to say it. The script below my name rearranged itself into fresh writing, curling, blooming, forming new words in front of me. Words only I could read. My mother's voice echoed in my head. If you're reading this, the contract has found you, and so has he. I stumbled back. The book glowed. The pages warmed. Elias caught my arm before I fell. Warm, solid, too steady. Mira, he said quietly, you were never meant to be normal. What am I? His silver eyes softened, dangerously. Mine. The word hung in the air between us. Mine. Like he'd casually announced the weather or the stock market crash. Except the stock market has never made my stomach do backflips. I yanked my arm from his grip. Nope. No, absolutely not. We are not doing medieval werewolf marriage claims today. Elias didn't flinch. I didn't mean it romantically. Oh, wow, thank goodness, because normally when a man says mine, he's either a toddler or a serial killer. His jaw twitched. You misunderstand. It's a classification, a status. Like a membership tier? Am I platinum hostage? He exhaled through his nose, like he was resisting the urge to pin me to a wall just to make me shut up. Which, honestly, rude, but understandable. You are classified, he said slowly, as bound. By the blood contract your mother enacted. I never agreed to anything. You're her heir. Of what? Trauma? Confusion? A terrifying supernatural consulting job? Of her oath. His gaze softened, barely. And of her protection. My sarcasm stuttered. That word, protection, always hit something buried deep in me. Because my mother had protected me from everything, even things I didn't know existed. I swallowed hard. Explain. I want to understand, but if you touch me again without warning, I'm suing you and whatever ancient wolf council you report to. He nodded once. Fair. We moved back toward the pedestal with my mother's book. The pages still glowed faintly, like they were breathing. Elias spoke first. My world and yours intersect, but only in shadows. Humans see what they're allowed to see, and shifters keep their existence quiet to avoid war. You're saying there are more of you? My Lyft driver last night? I muttered. Explains the vibe. He ignored that. 22 years ago, he continued, your mother discovered the truth, and she did not run. Yeah, that sounds like her. His eyes flickered, curious. You speak of her with anger. I speak of her with honesty. She kept secrets, huge secrets, life-altering secrets, and now I'm apparently on the shifter version of jury duty because of her. His expression darkened, something like regret passing through it. She was remarkable. Fearless. Too fearless at times. You knew her? I worked with her. You worked with her? In what universe? In this one. A pause. She saved my life. The room stopped moving. I stared at him. You're lying. I do not lie. My throat tightened. The idea of my mother, the woman who once threatened to sue a preschool for giving me a peanut cookie, saving a supernatural crime lord alpha? Impossible. Ridiculous. Terrifying. What happened? I whispered. Elias's eyes shifted, silver brightening like moonlight hitting water. There was an attack, he said. A betrayal inside my own ranks. I was ambushed, drugged, left to die. Your mother found me. She tended the wound, carried me to safety. She carried you? She was stronger than she looked. I huffed a laugh despite myself. She carried groceries like they were personally responsible for her misery. Grocery bags are not bleeding alphas. Touché. He stepped closer to the pedestal. When she realized what I was, she didn't panic. She asked questions, intelligent ones. She wanted to understand. Humans with her level of resilience are rare. Yeah, well, she forgot to pass the resilience gene to me. His eyes swept me in one slow, intentional motion. No, he murmured. She didn't. A shiver slid through me. I ignored it. Fine, so she saved your life. How does that equal me being bound to you? Debts must be repaid. Oh, that's fantastic. My mother bartered my future for a medical intervention. Perfectly normal. Mira, he said, voice sharper now. She had no choice. Everyone has choices, not when someone is hunting them. The words cracked like a whip. I stilled. Someone was hunting my mother? No. He paused. Someone was hunting you. My heart lurched. Me? I was a child. Yes. Why would anyone hunt a child? He hesitated. You don't know. No, Elias, I don't know. I grew up thinking my biggest threat was tripping on a Lego. He inhaled slowly. Then the book will show you. Before I could protest, one of the glowing lanterns dimmed, and the pages of my mother's book flipped again, this time violently, like something impatient was turning them. Images bled onto the page. Not drawings, not text. Memories. My mother, younger, standing over a tiny crib, her hand glowing faintly. A symbol on my forehead, moon-shaped, delicate, made of light. A mark. A mark she erased with a trembling hand. A mark she sealed away. My knees buckled. I caught myself on the pedestal. Elias stepped closer. You were born with shifter blood, but not of my kind. I'm human. No, he said gently. You're dormant. I don't have powers. I don't have claws. I get tired walking upstairs. You're unawakened. But your blood, it's rare, powerful, dangerous. The word echoed. Dangerous. So she hit me, I whispered. She erased it. Yes. And the contract? Was her way of ensuring you remained under protection. Under my protection. Because the ones who wanted you then still want you now. A ringing started in my ears. Too loud, too sharp. So I'm, what? A target? Yes. For what reason? His jaw flexed. Because of your lineage. My mother was an accountant. Your father wasn't. I froze. He looked me straight in the eyes. Mira, your father was not human. Everything inside me shattered. No, I croaked. No. She told me he died in a car crash. He did die, but not as a human. He died fighting. Fighting what? Rogues. The room tilted. Rogues. Like the ones from supernatural horror documentaries. Like the ones shifters whispered about. And me? I whispered. What am I supposed to do now? You sign the contract, Elias said softly. And I protect you. Why you? Because your father was my ally. He stepped close, so close his warmth brushed my skin. And because your mother trusted me with the only thing she loved more than her own life. My breath stuttered. Me, I said. Yes. The book glowed brighter. The mark from the memory, the moon, lit up faintly on the page beside my name. Elias's voice lowered to a near whisper. "The truth is simple, Mira." A pause. "You weren't sent to fix my reputation." My pulse hammered. "You were sent," he said, "to reclaim your identity." Turns out, finding out your dad wasn't human really kills the productivity vibe. I sat on a leather sofa in the sub-level chamber, staring blankly at my hands. They looked normal. Human. No claws, no glowing marks, no mysterious sparks. Just chipped nail polish and a faint caffeine tremor. Elias stood a few feet away, the respectful distance of a man who knew he'd detonated someone's reality and was politely giving them space to detonate back. I cleared my throat. "Okay, let me see if I've got this straight." His gaze flicked to mine, attentive. "My mother saved your life. My father died fighting weird wolf criminals. I'm allegedly some kind of dormant shifter baby with a VIP target on her back, and your big solution is sign the cursed contract and let the scary CEO handle it?" "In essence," he said. "Yes." I laughed. Not a normal laugh, one of those slightly hysterical, if I don't laugh, I'll cry laughs. "Well, when you put it like that," I said, "it almost sounds awful." He watched me carefully. "You are handling this better than most." "Define most." "Most scream." "Oh, don't worry, that's scheduled for later. I just like to plan my breakdowns around deadlines." His lips twitched. Admirable time management. I rubbed my temples. "I'm a PR consultant, Elias. I don't know how to be whatever you think I am." "I'm not asking you to fight," he said. "I'm asking you to fulfill the contract. Publicly, you will do what you do best, rebuild a reputation. Privately, you will remain under my watch, in my territory, where I can keep enemies from reaching you." "Enemies like who?" I asked. "The rogues? Other packs? The senator you half defenestrated?" "Some of them," he said. "Others, you will learn about in time." Wow, love that non-answer. It's an honest one. I exhaled. "Even if I believe you, and I'm not saying I do, why now? Why did the contract wake up? I've been minding my business, eating sad desk lunches and fixing rich men's messes for years." "Because," he said quietly, "your blood woke up." My skin prickled. "When?" "Recently. I felt it." "You felt my blood?" "It called," he said, like that was normal. "It stuttered in the dark like a flame trying to catch. Once that happens, the protection clause activates." "And that means?" His gaze pinned me. "It means the ones who seek you can track you more easily now." "Oh, fantastic. I'm a walking Wi-Fi hotspot for monsters." "You are not helpless." "I feel pretty helpless." "You are alive," he said, "in my territory. That makes you under my jurisdiction and under my protection." There it was again. That word. Protection. It shouldn't have sounded good. It should have sounded patronizing, threatening, like another cage. But when he said it, something in my chest unclenched a little. Irritating. I straightened. "Fine. Let's pretend I don't run screaming from this building. What does this contract actually want from me?" He inclined his head toward the door. "We'll discuss the terms upstairs. It's not wise to linger down here too long. The old wards don't like extended company." "The old what?" He was already walking out. Back in his office, the world felt annoyingly normal again. City skyline, hum of distant traffic, the faint smell of expensive coffee and power. The blood contract folder lay on his desk like an accusation. I sat in the chair opposite and folded my arms. You said this is also a PR contract, so let's talk scope. What kind of disaster am I dealing with? He tapped his tablet and sent something to the wall screen. A news article flashed up. Billionaire Blackridge threatens senator in alleged penthouse altercation. A grainy photo of Elias mid-snarl, one hand fisted in the senator's suit, the other seemingly ready to push. I winced. Okay, first note, stop doing that. He trespassed, Elias said calmly, and threatened to expose what he didn't understand. The public doesn't know that. They just see violent billionaire with anger issues, which, no offense, is not entirely inaccurate. He didn't argue. I flipped through a digital dossier he'd sent earlier. Past philanthropy efforts, speeches, sanitized interviews. All careful, all cold. You don't make it easy on your PR teams, I said. You're allergic to smiling, you give one-word answers, and your charitable work is mostly anonymous. Is that wrong?
It's inconvenient, I said. The world loves a redemption story. They don't know what to do with a stone statue who occasionally shoves senators. The senator survived. Low bar, Elias. He tilted his head. What would you do? I straightened, slipping into familiar territory. This part I knew how to handle. First, we control the narrative, I said. Exclusive interview with a reputable outlet. We frame the incident as a regrettable but understandable reaction to a privacy violation. You show restraint, humanity. Maybe mention stress, personal tragedy. Lies. Framing, I corrected. People lie all the time. I just give them better lines. He studied me. And if I don't want to be softer? Then we lean into the scary, I said. Controlled intimidation. You become the man who doesn't suffer corruption, who protects what's his. We link your aggression to defending whistleblowers, projects, vulnerable communities. His eyes sharpened. You'd use what they fear. Fear's just a badly branded survival instinct, I said. We can work with it. He liked that, I could tell. Something prowling behind his pupils eased, like the wolf part of him approved. So, he said, you will help me. I hesitated, then nodded once. Professionally? Yes. I don't leave a job half done. And personally? He asked. I blinked. Personally, I would like to not die, but I'm still not thrilled about binding myself to a man whose eyes glow when he's upset. Yet you are still here. Yeah, well, I shrugged. The elevator's confusing. He almost smiled. Almost. The terms are simple, Elias said, sliding the folder toward me. You serve as my lead image consultant for 1 lunar cycle. You remain on site or in my designated safe properties after dark. You attend public events and strategic meetings. You will be granted access to classified information pertaining to my other dealings. And in return? I asked. In return, he said, you receive full protection under my PAC's laws. No shifter may harm you without invoking my direct wrath. None may claim you, none may hunt you. And the ones who seek your blood will answer to me. It was the way he said wrath that did it. Calm. Absolute. Like wrath wasn't an emotion for him, it was a weapon. And if I refuse to sign? I whispered. His gaze dipped to the folder, then back to me.
The contract will mark that as a breach of bloodline. It will seek balance. Sometimes that manifests as illness, sometimes as accidents, sometimes as attracting exactly the danger your mother tried to shield you from. So either I sign or I roll the dice with supernatural bad luck. Yes. That's not a choice, I snapped. It's the only one we have. Silence stretched. The smart thing would have been to walk away, to find a priest, a witch, a therapist with an open-minded license and a strong prescription pad. Instead, I picked up the pen. My hand shook. This better come with dental, I muttered. I pressed the tip to the parchment. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, the paper warmed under my hand. The ink flowed, too smoothly, too thick. It gleamed dark red instead of black, and I realized with a lurch, it wasn't drawing from the pen. It was drawing from me. A pinprick sting at my fingertip. I hissed. Ow! Elias was suddenly there, his hand closing around my wrist, not yanking, just steadying. Breathe, he said quietly. It takes what it needs. That's not reassuring. The contract's letters lit up, blazing red for a second, before dimming back to a deep, sinister maroon. My name etched itself beside my mother's. The room seemed to exhale, and something inside my chest answered. A strange warmth flickered under my sternum, like a tiny match catching flame. I jerked back, clutching at my shirt. What was that? Bond activation, Elias said. You're linked to the contract, and to its enforcer. My eyes snapped to his. Which is who? He held my gaze. Me. Of course. Of course it was him. I stared at the contract, at my name glowing faintly like a wound. So that's it, I said. I'm now officially bound to the wolf in a suit. Yes. He released my wrist, but I could still feel the imprint of his touch. Annoying. What happens now? I asked. Now, he said, straightening like we were back to business. We prepare for tonight. Tonight? Our first public move. His eyes gleamed. A charity gala. The city's elite. Cameras, shifters in hiding. And at least one potential enemy in attendance. My stomach dropped. And what's my role exactly? He smiled, slowly, dangerously. You, he said, will be on my arm. I've been to a lot of rich people functions. They usually smell like overpriced perfume, under-seasoned appetizers, and quiet desperation. This one also smelled like predators. The Blackridge Foundation annual gala took place in a downtown hotel ballroom dripping with chandeliers and ego. Everything glowed: gold, crystal, teeth. I tugged at the neckline of the black dress Elias's assistant had arranged for me. Correction. Ordered, delivered, and emotionally bullied me into wearing. It fit perfectly. Too perfectly. Smooth black silk that hugged my curves, a slit up one thigh, neckline just risky enough to say, I'm not an intern anymore. My mother would have fainted. Elias, on the other hand, looked like sin in a suit. Dark tux, black shirt, no tie, top button undone, jawline sharp enough to cut glass, silver eyes gleaming under the soft lighting like he knew exactly how dangerous he looked and didn't care. He watched me descend the marble staircase into the ballroom like I was the only thing worth tracking in a room full of prey. My heels clicked with more confidence than I felt. Reminder, I murmured as I reached him. I'm here in a professional capacity." His gaze swept me from head to toe, slow enough to make my skin heat. "Of course," he said. "This is strictly professional." "Why do you sound like you're lying?" "Because," he said smoothly, offering his arm. "I am also enjoying the view." I ignored the way my pulse tripped. "Objectifying your PR consultant is a hostile work environment." "I'm an equal opportunity objectifier," he said. "The men here bore me even more." A laugh slipped out before I could stop it. Traitor mouth. I took his arm because refusing would cause a scene, and because the moment my fingers brushed the fabric of his jacket, that strange warmth in my chest flared, like a match trying desperately to become a bonfire. We moved through the ballroom as one unit, the wolf in a suit and the woman apparently stupid enough to sign his blood contract. Heads turned. Whispers followed. "That's her," someone hissed. "New? I thought Elias preferred to attend alone." "She looks human. Maybe she's a snack." I stiffened. "You're hearing them?" Elias murmured near my ear. "Some of them," I whispered back. "The rude ones are loud." "Shifter senses," he said quietly. "Your bloodline's beginning to stir." "Oh, good," I muttered. "Puberty, but make it paranormal." He huffed, a soft, almost laugh. "Stay close. Don't stray more than a few feet from me. Not until we know who showed up." You keep saying things that don't sound ominous, but are actually very ominous. That's leadership. We paused near the bar as a photographer approached, all smiles and flash. "Mr. Blackridge, one shot for the foundation page?" Elias inclined his head, professional mask slipping into place. Smooth, impenetrable. CEO mode. "Of course," he said. The photographer's eyes flicked to me. "And this is—" "My lead consultant," Elias said smoothly, before I could invent a job title more boring. "Ms. Vale." The photographer's eyebrows climbed. The name meant something to him. To some of the shifters watching us, too. I smiled like nothing was weird. "Make sure to capture my good side," I said, which is mostly the side not processing a supernatural midlife crisis. He laughed uncertainly. "Right, of course." The flash popped. I leaned in for the shot, one hand lightly resting on Elias's chest for balance. Big mistake. Under the fine fabric, heat rolled off him in waves. His heart beat steady, powerful. The bond flame in my chest flared. For a second I felt something, not from me, but from him. A surge of possessiveness, a fleeting, surprised flicker of pride? Panic shot through me. I dropped my hand and stepped back. "Great, good, photo done, fantastic." If the photographer noticed my near escape, he wisely pretended not to. As he moved away, a new voice slid into the space between us. "Elias, you didn't mention you'd finally hired a human handler." We turned. I'd assumed Elias was the most intimidating man in the room. I was wrong. The newcomer was tall, golden, and dangerous in a different way. Blonde hair artfully tousled, smiling like a politician who moonlighted as a shark. His eyes were a warm amber, beautiful, until you noticed how flat they were. "Counselor Vance," Elias said. "I don't recall inviting you." "You didn't," Vance said cheerfully. "But when the city's favorite scandalized alpha throws a gala, it would be rude not to attend." My PR brain clicked instantly. Kenneth Vance, wealthy businessman, rumored political hopeful. On paper, one of Elias's competitors. In reality, something else. "And who is this?" Vance turned his smile on me, and it felt like stepping into the path of a hungry snake. "Your new acquisition?" Possessive rage flared from Elias, so strong I felt it through the bond like a heat wave.
"She is not an acquisition," Elias said, voice iron. "This is Mira Vale, my consultant. She is under my protection."
That last line had weight. Legal weight. Supernatural weight. Vance's smile tightened. "Vale, you say?" I pasted on my best PR grin. "Yes, like the valley, not the thing you drink from. Although, depending on how this night goes..." He chuckled. "Spirited. I like her."
"She's not here for your enjoyment," Elias said.
"I didn't say she was," Vance replied lightly. Then to me, "Tell me, Ms. Vale, how are you finding our city's favorite recluse?" "Chronically underbranded," I said, "but salvageable." Vance's eyes glittered. "Oh, I do enjoy you." "You keep saying that," I said sweetly, "but you're standing here uninvited, critiquing my client's life choices, so forgive me if I don't swoon." For a moment, his smile slipped, just a crack. "Careful," he murmured. "Your claws are showing." "You haven't seen my claws," I said. "Yet." Elias's hand found the small of my back, subtle, grounding. "Counselor," he said, "I'm sure you have other guests to harass." "Plenty," Vance agreed, "but I couldn't resist meeting the woman your wards reacted to earlier." My blood ran cold. "The what now?" "The building wards," Vance said lazily. "They shivered when you arrived. Rare for them to do anything at all. You must be interesting." He leaned in, inhaling lightly at my temple. Every instinct screamed, "Nope!" Before I could jerk away, Elias stepped forward, putting his body between us. His voice dropped to lethal softness. "Touch her, and I remove your hand." All traces of charm faded from Vance's face for one heartbeat. What stared back at Elias was pure, calculating malice. Then, switch, back came the smile. "Relax," Vance said. "I'm not poaching, just looking." "Do it from a distance," Elias said. "Enjoy your evening, then," Vance murmured. "And, Ms. Vale, I do hope you survive this job. I'd hate to see such potential wasted." He slipped back into the crowd like a ghost. I exhaled shakily. "So, he seems fun." "Stay away from him," Elias said. "If he approaches again, you find me immediately." "Does he fall under the rogue category or the annoying extended family category?" "He falls under the category of ambitious enough to start a war if it benefited him." "Oh, perfect. Love that for us." A server walked by with champagne. I grabbed one. Elias caught my wrist. "Don't drink." "Why?" "The drinks are monitored." "For what, calories?" "For poisons, trackers, spells." I slowly placed the glass back on the tray. "Great. I'll just stand here and quietly starve then." "You ate before we came," he reminded me. "Yeah, but that was a pre-gala snack. This is during-gala hunger. Completely different food category." He almost smiled. Again. "You'll survive." Says the man who could probably eat the cutlery to survive. His gaze softened, just a fraction. "If you are hungry later, I'll have something brought to my private suite." I froze. Clarify, I said, because that sounded like a proposition. It was an offer of food, Mira. And nothing else? Unless you request more, he said mildly. My brain short-circuited. Focus, I whispered. We're here for your PR redemption arc, not my nervous breakdown. Then do your job, he said. Tell me what to do. I scanned the room. Cameras lurked near the stage, by the silent auction tables, near the charity step and repeat. Okay, I said, brain slipping into strategy. You need to be seen doing 3 things tonight: being approachable, being charitable, and being not a homicidal maniac. Only 3? We're aiming for realistic goals. I nudged him toward a group of city leaders and donors. Start there. Listen more than you speak. If someone baitingly mentions the senator, smile like you've discovered inner peace and say you're deeply committed to de-escalation moving forward. Lies. Framing. We drifted from group to group. I guided. He adapted. It was unsettling how quickly he adjusted his persona with my cues. A reassuring touch here, a nod there, the occasional amused fake smile that made him look almost human. People started relaxing around him, until I felt it. A chill. Not from Elias. From somewhere behind me. The hairs on my arms rose. The air thinned, like someone had opened a door into a colder world. I turned. In the far corner of the ballroom, half shadowed by a pillar, stood a man watching me. Not Elias-level gorgeous, not Vance-level polished. He was wrong. Eyes too pale, skin too gray. The energy around him, off, like a static buzz under my skin. When our eyes met, his lips curled into a knowing smile. My bond flame stuttered. Mira, Elias murmured. What is it? I didn't look away. Please tell me that guy is just the world's creepiest caterer. Elias followed my gaze. His hand closed around mine. Hard. Don't react, he said softly. Don't show fear. Is he one of yours? I whispered. No, Elias said. He's worse. Define worse. Rogue, he said, and he shouldn't be here. The rogue lifted his champagne glass toward me in a silent toast, his smile widening. The glass in his hand was filled with something dark red. Not champagne. Blood. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I tightened my grip on Elias's hand. Okay, I said, heartbeat thundering, mouth dry. On a scale of 1 to I really regret coming, where are we? He squeezed my hand back. Stay with me, he said, because Mira, I think your bloodline just got noticed. I always thought being noticed would feel glamorous. Turns out, when it's by a rogue with a blood cocktail, it feels a lot more like a mild heart attack. Don't react, Elias murmured again, his fingers wrapped around mine like a manacle. He'll feed on it. Feed on... Great, perfect, love this wording for my anxiety. We're leaving. Fantastic, I fully support that. We started moving as one, slow and deliberate, like nothing was wrong. Like we were just another power couple bored with mingling and sneaking away for expensive, morally questionable fun. Only every nerve in my body was screaming, run. I could feel the rogue's attention on my back, heavy, greasy, like an oil stain sliding across my skin. Don't look at him, Elias said. I wasn't going to. I lied. I absolutely was. We passed a cluster of donors. A woman in designer red grabbed Elias's arm, laughing too loudly. "Elias, you never dance anymore." "Later," he said, smoothly disentangling without breaking stride. "I'm needed elsewhere." Her gaze flicked to me, eyes sharp with curiosity and judgment. "Is this the reason?" she purred. "Yes," he said. No hesitation. She stared between us, lips thinning. "You've changed your type." "I haven't," he said. "I've found my priority." My brain, unhelpfully. "Did he just—" "We're on the clock," I muttered when we were clear. "Focus, Dracula." I am focused. On the rogue stuff, not fake relationship banter. It isn't fake. Dangerous words. I threw them in the emotional junk drawer and slammed it shut. We slipped through a side doorway into a quieter corridor lined with framed black and white photos of old galas. The music from the ballroom thudded faintly through the walls. Elias's shoulders dropped half an inch. Wolf mode. Engaged. "We're not safe here either, are we?" I said. "Safer," he replied, "but not—" A voice floated from the far end of the corridor. "Running off so soon, Alpha?" We both turned. The rogue wasn't supposed to be able to follow us. He didn't move like someone blocked by wards or security. He moved like smoke. Like rules were a suggestion he declined. Up close, he looked worse. His suit was nice enough, but it hung wrong. His skin had a grayish cast, like he'd been slowly drained of color. And his eyes, too pale, too hungry, never stopped moving. Except when they landed on me. Then they went still. "Well, hello," he said, smiling like a knife. "There she is." Every instinct screamed at me to hide behind Elias. I didn't. I shifted half a step closer to him instead, close enough that our shoulders brushed. "What do you want?" Elias's voice went flat cold. "You aren't invited, rogue." "No one's invited us anymore," the man said lightly. "It hurts, really, after everything our kind has done for your empire." Elias's hand flexed at his side. I felt the energy roll off him, anger, coiled and barely contained. "You've done nothing but destabilize the city," he said, "and break laws." "Laws?" the rogue scoffed. "You mean your rules." His gaze slid to me again, like he was savoring a dessert menu. "And yet," he murmured, "your rules seem to have produced something interesting." "Stop looking at her," Elias growled. "Oh, don't be possessive, Alpha. I've waited a long time to see her." The rogue's lips curled. "You look like your father, girl. Same eyes, same confused expression." My heart stopped. "You knew my father?" I blurted before I could stop myself. "Don't talk to him," Elias snapped. "Yes," the rogue said over him. "I knew him. I fought beside him, before your mother decided she preferred humans making the rules." White-hot anger flared in my chest, protective, defensive. "You don't get to talk about my mother." "Oh, I won't," he said. "Not when you're so much more fun." He took a step closer. Elias stepped forward too, blocking him. His voice dropped to something dark and lethal. "One more step and I remove your throat." The rogue smiled. "Careful. Threats in front of witnesses? You already have a reputation problem." "I don't see any witnesses," Elias said. His finger twitched. Lights above us flickered. "Okay, note to self, do not annoy Elias in a room with dimmers." "Relax," the rogue said. I didn't come to fight tonight. A rogue never comes just to talk, Elias said. True, the man conceded. I came to verify something.
His gaze snapped to me again. I felt it physically, like a hand wrapping around my ribs and squeezing.
Look at her, Alpha, he said quietly. She feels it, doesn't she? That buzzing under her skin, that heat in her blood, the way everyone in that room turned their head as soon as she walked in.
I swallowed hard. That's just because the dress is great.
He laughed. No, that's because you're lit from the inside, even unawakened. And your little bond with the wolf in a suit? That just put a spotlight on you in our world.
Bond?
I repeated. It's a contract. He grinned, all teeth. Call it whatever makes you sleep at night, sweetheart. But I can smell him on you.
I'm gonna throw up, I muttered.
Elias's growl rumbled low, reverberating through his chest and into my bones. You've seen enough. Leave. Soon, the rogue said. But first, I wanted to see whether your fire mirrors your father's frost.
My what now?
I said. He lifted a hand and snapped his fingers. The air changed. Cold slammed into me, not from the room, but from inside my own veins. Like ice water poured straight into my chest. Images flashed behind my eyes. Snow, moonlight on frozen ground, a lean figure with eyes like mine, and a wolf's shadow behind him. I stumbled. Elias grabbed me, pulling me back into his chest. His arms wrapped around me, anchoring me to heat, to now. Stop, he barked. You're not touching her mind. I barely brushed her, the rogue said, still smiling. And look how she shivers. She doesn't even know what she is, does she? Rage snapped inside me. The ice in my veins met the bond flame in my chest and did something new. It cracked. Suddenly there was heat, not warm, soft heat, furnace heat, fire racing along my nerves, lighting up every inch of skin Elias's body touched. My vision tilted. The corridor dimmed, then sharpened. Colors brightened. I could hear everything, music pounding 3 rooms away, ice clinking in glasses, someone's laugh in the lobby. I could hear Elias's heartbeat. Fast. Hard. I could hear the rogues, too. Slower. Thready. Wrong. My fingernails dug into Elias's forearm. They felt sharper. Mira, he said low, near my ear. Breathe. Don't chase it. Let it pass. What is happening? Your blood is reacting, the rogue said, awe and greed tangled in his voice. Look at that. Her eyes. Elias cursed. Don't look at her. My eyes burned. I blinked. The hallway went washed in silver and red. I could see threads, lines of energy between me and Elias, between Elias and the walls, the lights, the building, and between me and the rogue. That one pulsed ugly dark. He smiled. There you are. Something inside me snarled. I didn't know I'd moved my hand until I felt heat rush down my arm and out through my fingers. A spark of light burst between us. Not metaphorical, literal. It slammed into the rogue's chest like a small explosion, no louder than a clap, but bright enough that spots danced in my vision. He staggered back, composure cracking for the first time. The scent of singed fabric and burned something filled the air. I stared at my hand. No flames, no smoke, just fingers trembling, tingling,
little flecks of silver light fading around them like dying fireflies. "Oh," I said faintly. "Okay, so that's new." The rogue's face twisted. For one moment, his charm vanished, and I saw the raw, rabid hunger underneath. "Fire," he hissed. "She has fire." Elias's arms locked tighter around me, like he was tempted to wrap me in his own body and hide me entirely. "You've seen enough," he said again. No softness now, no measured control. This was alpha voice. It pressed on the air, on my lungs, on everything. Even the rogue flinched. "Careful, Blackridge," he said, righting himself. "If you hide her too well, others will think you're hoarding a weapon. If you flaunt her, they'll think she's theirs for the taking. Tricky for you either way." "This is my territory," Elias said. "Anyone who comes for her dies." The rogue smiled thinly. "We'll see who dies first." He took one step backward, then another. Then, with no dramatic poof or smoke bomb, he simply vanished into the shadows at the end of the hallway. One moment there, the next gone. The wrongness in the air went with him. My knees went out. If Elias hadn't already been holding me, I would have hit the floor. He guided us to a bench against the wall, lowering me down carefully like I was made of glass. I grabbed his lapel with both hands. "What was that?" I demanded. "What did I just do? Why did my world turn into a rave with better lighting?" His gaze scanned my face, my eyes, my hands. "You manifested," he said quietly. "First spark." "Spark of what?" "Your power," he said. "Your bloodline. Your element." "I didn't order an element," I protested weakly. "And if I did, I would have gone with something calm, like rain or mild wind." He exhaled, tension easing just enough that the worry showed through. "You are fire," he said. "Your father was ice. Your mother's line carried moonlight. You are a convergence they feared and coveted." "Who's they?" I whispered. "Everyone who saw that rogue walk through my wards tonight," he said grimly. Because his message was simple. "What message?" "That he's not the only one who knows you're awake." The thought sank in like a stone. I swallowed. "So, PR crisis plus assassination attempts. Love this combo. Very trendy." His mouth almost twitched. Almost. I forced myself to breathe. In, out. In, out. After a long beat, I said, quietly, "Tell me honestly, how bad is this for you?" "For me?" he repeated. "For your empire, your council, your already questionable reputation. Having a glitchy fire starter bonded to you has to be a nightmare." He stared at me like I'd spoken another language. "Mira," he said, "you are not a nightmare." "Oh, I'm definitely a nightmare." "No," he said, voice dropping. "You're my leverage, my responsibility, and my chance to end a war before it starts." My chest squeezed. "I didn't ask for any of this," I whispered. "I know. I just wanted to fix a scandal and pay off my student loans." He huffed a sound that was almost a laugh, then leaned in close enough that I could feel his breath. "Stay alive," he said softly. "Stay close to me. Let me protect you. And together, we might just survive this."
Together, huh? My voice shook, but the sarcasm still came. Sounds dangerously like a partnership. It is, he said, whether you like it or not. My bond flame flickered, and for the first time, I didn't try to smother it. The drive from the gala to wherever Elias was taking me was, according to him, not an abduction. According to me, it was definitely giving kidnap adjacent. Stop glaring at the window, he said as the tinted SUV glided through the midnight streets. You're not a prisoner. Then why are there 3 security SUVs boxing us in? For protection. And why did they block every turn I suggested? Because you suggested turning into a Taco Bell drive-thru. My blood sugar is low, Elias. There is food at the safe house. Define food. He didn't answer, which was not reassuring. The city lights blurred past. I could still feel the burn in my fingertips from the spark I'd thrown. I kept flexing my hands like the sensation might vanish. It didn't. It'll get easier, Elias said quietly, watching me from the opposite seat. I wasn't complaining. I didn't say you were. Then why are you looking at me like I'm a malfunctioning nuclear device? Because you are. Well, that's rude. His jaw softened, and something like guilt flickered over his face. You took a hit, he said. The rogue's probing wasn't gentle. You shouldn't have been able to counter him at all, let alone ignite. Good to know I'm surprising even the paranormal population. Mira. His voice dropped. You burned through his veil. That isn't normal, not for an awakened shifter, and certainly not for someone dormant. Well, I shrugged. I'm an overachiever. You're dangerous, he corrected softly. To them, and maybe to yourself. I swallowed. Is that supposed to comfort me? No, he said. It's supposed to prepare you. The SUV pulled off the main highway, heading toward the wooded hills outside the city. The ride smoothed into silence. After a moment, Elias said, Tell me exactly what you felt. I hesitated. Promise you won't diagnose me with supernatural epilepsy? Promise. So I told him. The ice, the heat, the world going silver and red. The threads, the energy lines, the rogue's rotten heartbeat, Elias's heartbeat, the spark that exploded out of my hand like it had been waiting years. When I finished, Elias's expression had shifted into something between awe and wariness. You saw the threads, he murmured. Yes, against my will. That means your lineage isn't dormant. It's sealed. I blinked. There's a difference? A significant one. Elias leaned forward. Dormant means asleep. Sealed means restrained. Why would anyone seal a child? To hide you, he said, or to protect others from you. My stomach nodded. Protect others? From a baby? I didn't ask to be born nuclear. He tilted his head. Your father was ice, your mother moonlight. Fire shouldn't have been possible, not without an external catalyst. External catalyst? I repeated. Like, what, magic fertilizer? He didn't smile. Bloodlines that shouldn't mix, or a prophecy, or forbidden rituals. Forbidden rituals? Oh, great, my parents were kinky. Not that kind. That does not rule out the possibility, Elias. He pinched the bridge of his nose, muttering something in another language that sounded wolf-adjacent and deeply done with me.
I smiled despite myself. The SUV slowed, turning onto a long, private driveway. Security lights flickered on as we approached a modern glass and stone mansion nestled in the hills. My jaw dropped. "This is your safe house?" "One of them." "Your definition of safe house is house, but make it billionaire chic." "It is fortified," he said, "and hidden. And looks like a Bond villain vacation home." That is not an insult. We stepped inside. The temperature adjusted automatically to a pleasant warmth. Everything smelled faintly like cedar and something darker. Elias's scent, I realized. His home smelled like danger and comfort mixed together, which was deeply unfair. A massive fireplace crackled to life. Elias turned to me. "You should rest." I laughed, a single unhinged sound. "Sleep? After the rogue tried to freezer burn my soul? Not happening." "You need to recover. I need answers." "You can't handle all of them right now." "Try me." He exhaled, long and tired. "You're relentless." "I'm traumatized with caffeine dependency. Big difference." He gestured toward the fireplace. "Sit." I sat, mostly because my legs threatened to mutiny. A soft blanket landed over my shoulders. I blinked up at him. "You blanket people?" I asked faintly. "You, Mr. I don't smile, I just scowl professionally?" "Don't make this weird." "Too late." He moved to pour tea from a sleek kettle. Not coffee, not alcohol. Tea. "You drink tea," I said, horrified. "Like a human man." He ignored me and handed me a mug. "Drink." I sniffed it suspiciously. "Is this magical?" "It is chamomile." "That's worse." "Mira." "Fine." I took a sip. Warm, floral, calming, annoyingly effective. He sat across from me, leaning forward, forearms rested on his knees. When Elias looked at you like this, intent, focused, you felt like the only person in a world full of noise. "This will sound intrusive," he said, "but I need to know. Did the rogue say anything that triggered the spark?" I thought back. He mentioned my father, said something about frost. Then he snapped his fingers and everything inside me went ice. And then it all flipped. "Frost," Elias repeated. His voice tightened. "Then it's true." "What's true?" "Your father wasn't just ice-aligned," Elias said. "He was a frost-born alpha." "Is that important?" "It's impossible," he said. "Well, I do love being impossible." "You're not listening." He leaned closer, silver eyes burning. "There have only been 3 frost-born alphas in the last 1,000 years. I'm going to need you to stop counting in millennia. And fire-born shifters are even rarer. Bloodlines don't mix like that. They can't." "Well, they did," I said softly. "And now I light up like a paranormal glow stick." His gaze moved to the spot on my collarbone where residual warmth still pulsed under my skin. "Do you feel it now?" he asked quietly. "Yes," I whispered. "It's like something wants to wake up." "Not yet." His voice was low. "Not until you're ready. Awakening too early could kill you." "Oh, great, fantastic. Another thing trying to kill me." He stood abruptly. "Come with me." "To where?" "Where you'll sleep."
I followed him down a hallway framed with floor-to-ceiling windows showing the dark forest outside. Moonlight spilled across the floor like spilled silver. He opened a door. Inside was a serene guest room, soft lighting, thick blankets, a view of the moonlit pines. "You'll stay here," he said. "That's actually nice." He didn't smile, but he didn't scowl either. As I stepped inside, I paused. "Where will you be?" "Next door." "Close by?" "Yes." "In case I need something?" "In case someone tries to kill you." "Oh, right. That." I stepped farther in, then turned back. "Elias?" He met my gaze. "Earlier," I said slowly, "when the rogue was messing with my head, you held on to me." "I did." "It helped." "I know." I swallowed. "And when I ignited, you didn't let go." "Of course not." "Why?" He stepped into the doorway, the moonlight catching in his silver eyes. "Because," he said quietly, "you're mine to protect." My chest tightened. "And not because of the contract?" "No." A pause. "The bond existed before the contract acknowledged it." I stared at him. "You're saying you felt something before I signed anything?" "Yes." "Since when?" His voice dropped to something soft and dangerous. "Since the moment I saw you." Something flared in me. Not fire, not fear. Something in between. I exhaled shakily. "Good night, Elias." He stepped back. "Good night, Mira." He closed the door gently, and for the first time in my life, I fell asleep knowing a wolf guarded the other side of the wall. I didn't dream. I relived. Snow, too bright moonlight, my mother's voice, frayed at the edges. "Run, Mira. Whatever happens, you run." I was small, bare feet on frozen ground that didn't burn like it should have. Wolves howled, wrong wolves, broken wild. Shadows with teeth. A man stood between us and them. I couldn't see his face, only his eyes, my eyes, and the frost forming at his feet. Ice spread like veins in the earth, jagged and radiant. My father. Something slammed into him. A roar. The crunch of bone. My mother's arms scooped me up. Her breath tasted like fear and iron. "Forgive me," she whispered, pressing her glowing hand to my forehead. Cold. Fire. Darkness. I woke up choking on a scream. For a second I didn't know where I was. The room was dark, the edges too sharp. The moon poured silver rectangles across the floor, and there was a shadow in the doorway. "Easy." Elias's voice, low, grounding. "You're safe." I jerked upright, clutching the blankets to my chest. "Why are you lurking in my doorway like a paranormal sleep paralysis demon?" "I heard you," he said simply. "You were distressed." "Yeah, well, it's been a day." His silhouette didn't move. I could feel his eyes on me. "How long were you standing there?" I asked. "Not long." "Liar." He sighed. "Long enough to make sure you were breathing." That did something to me I didn't have the emotional bandwidth to unpack. "Did I say anything?" I asked. Quieter now. He hesitated. "You called for your mother." My throat closed. "Of course I did." "And your father." he added. I froze. I don't call his name. I barely remember his voice. Your blood remembers. His tone softened. The seal must be thinning. Is that good or bad? Yes, he said. Fantastic. Very helpful. He stepped into the room, staying respectfully near the door. Do you want water? Do you want to stop being weirdly considerate? No. Then yes, water, please. He disappeared, came back with a glass. I took it, fingers brushing his. The bond flame flickered, but not painfully this time, more like a quiet, hey. Thanks, I muttered. You're welcome. He didn't leave. Elias, I said, is watching me sleep part of the contract? No. Is it part of your personal creep checklist? No. Then why are you still standing there? He was silent for a moment. The rogue got into my wards tonight, he said. Logic says he had help. Until I know from where, I prefer you in my sight or behind my walls. My irritation fizzled. That's actually reasonable. Annoying, but reasonable. I can be both. Trust me, you are. I put the water down. So what's the plan now, besides insomnia? Training, he said. I blinked. I glanced at the clock. 5:30 in the morning? The rogue didn't wait for a convenient time to test your defenses, he said. We won't either. I groaned. I hate this proactive lifestyle. Get dressed, he said. Comfortable clothes. We start in 20 minutes. The training room turned out to be a wide open space on the lower level, half dojo, half war room. Mats covered the floor. Weapons lined one wall. Blades, staffs, things I didn't want names for. I had changed into leggings, an oversized sweatshirt, and the stubborn belief that maybe we'd start with meditation and gentle stretches. We did not. We'll begin with control exercises, Elias said, barefoot on the mat, looking disgustingly composed. You brought your hands. I didn't realize those were optional. Stand here. He guided me to the center of the mat. His hand on my hip was steady and warm. I tried not to notice. I failed. Remember what you felt in the hallway, he said. The threads, the heat, the pull between us and the rogue. Hard to forget. Good. He stepped back. We're going to replicate part of that. Not the rogue. Just the bond and your core spark. That sounds like a recipe for spontaneous combustion. I'll stop it if it goes too far. And what if you can't? His eyes flashed silver. I will. I believed him. Annoying. He took a slow breath. Close your eyes. I don't like that. Trust me. I don't like that either. Mira. I exhaled and closed them. Focus on your chest, he said. On that warmth under your sternum. Don't force it, just notice. I notice that this is ridiculous, I muttered. Your sarcasm is a shield, he murmured. Yes, and it's working badly. Good. That means we're doing something important. His voice circled me. I wasn't sure if he'd moved closer or if the bond made him feel omnipresent. Now, he said softly, focus on me. That's not hard. You're loud. In your mind, Mira. Oh, right. I thought about his ridiculous silver eyes, the way his anger rolled off him like heat, the feel of his arms around me in the hallway. Unhelpfully, my brain also offered the image of him in that tux. Your heart rate increased, he said.
I'm thinking about murder.
Lies. I would have glared if my eyes were open. Shut up and guide, Alpha. Better tone, he said. Now, imagine a thread between us, from your chest to mine. Is this couples therapy? Yes, he said, for our impending shared death. Oh, romantic. The strangest thing happened. The thread appeared. Silver red, humming between us, like it had just been waiting for me to acknowledge it. I see it, I whispered. I know, he said. I feel it. Now, breathe with it. In, out. No forcing, just awareness. For a few seconds, it worked. The warmth in my chest spread slowly, just enough to tingle in my fingertips. Not painful, not overwhelming. Good, Elias said quietly. This is your baseline, your control. If you can hold this, you won't accidentally ignite next time you're afraid. A thought slipped in like a knife. Or next time I'm near you. Now, he said, open your eyes. I did. He was standing only a foot away, shirt sleeves rolled up, chest rising and falling in sync with mine. And I could see the thread between us, faint but real. A shiver ran down my spine. This feels illegal. It's a bond, he said, not a sentence. Feels like both. His gaze softened. Mira, look at the wall. I glanced past him. On the far side of the room, a single candle sat on a shelf, unlit. Focus on that, he said. See if you can extend your awareness outward. Not like in the hallway. Gentle. A touch, not a punch. You're very confident in my self-restraint. I'm very confident in my ability to tackle you to the floor if you explode. Is that supposed to be reassuring or distracting? Yes. I sighed, then did as he asked. The candle looked ordinary. I focused on the wick. I felt the warmth in my chest, the thread between us, the room. I reached, not with my hands, but with that strange new sense inside me. For a second, nothing. Then a spark. The wick flared. A tiny, steady flame. I gasped. I did it! Yes. I lit a candle with my mind. Yes. Okay, but that's objectively kind of badass. A slow, genuine smile cracked across his face. Yes, he said. It is. I grinned back. Then his phone buzzed. The temperature in the room dropped, not because of my father's frost, but because whatever message he read wiped the warmth from his face. What? I asked. He looked up, eyes hard again. Alpha mask sliding into place. The council, he said. They've called an emergency session. About the rogue? About you. My stomach dropped. They know? They always know. His jaw clenched. They want to see the woman whose bloodline broke 3 rules at once. So this is bad. Yes. And I'm guessing I don't get to stay home. He met my eyes. You're my bound consultant, he said. They'll expect you at my side. I swallowed. So I'm going to Shifter Court, I said. As Exhibit A? Yes. Cool. No notes. I forced a crooked smile. If you were me, would you trust you to keep me alive in there? He didn't hesitate. Yes. Why? His gaze locked on mine, intense enough to steal breath. Because, he said, I'd kill anyone who tried otherwise. The council hall wasn't a hall. It was a cathedral built by wolves with a god complex. Stone pillars etched with runes rose to a vaulted ceiling shaped like a crescent moon. Silver flames burned in sconces that didn't melt the metal. The air tasted like ancient laws and fresh judgment. Elias walked beside me, tall, composed, and emanating, touch her and I'll tear your spine out, energy. I envied it. My own energy was more, I need 3 shots of espresso and a therapist. Stay behind me unless I say otherwise, he murmured. Define otherwise. When someone addresses you directly. And if they try to eat me? They won't. And if they try to verbally eat me? Respond with sarcasm. Oh, good. My natural weapon. He almost smiled. Almost. We reached the center of the chamber where 9 counselors sat in a semicircle, like a jury panel from hell. Some looked human, some didn't bother pretending. Eyes glowed gold, red, amber. One woman had silver streaks like claw marks across her face. And every single one of them looked at me before they looked at Elias. One of the counselors stood. Counselor Bardem, with dark hair and eyes so sharp they could cut truth from flesh. A ledger lay open in front of him. Alpha Blackridge, Bardem said. You were summoned alone. I do not attend without my consultant, Elias replied coolly. Mira Vale, Bardem said, turning his gaze to me. Daughter of Celine Vale, granddaughter of no one we have records for, and carrier of irregularities. I'm not a refrigerator, I said, before my brain could stop me. Elias's hand brushed the small of my back, barely there, a warning and steadying touch in one. Bardem didn't smile. He rarely did, I suspected.
A rogue entered your gala last night, Bardem continued. That is not the irregularity in question. The problem is what happened after. Eyes flicked to me again. Hungry, curious, calculating. A woman with silver hair leaned forward. She manifested, without training, without control. She defended herself, Elias said. She reacted, another counselor corrected, against a minor provocation, with power she was not supposed to possess. My heartbeat stuttered. Am I being shamed for self-defense? You are being evaluated, Bardem said. Well, I hate that. Your opinion is noted, he said, in a tone that meant it absolutely wasn't. Another counselor, Counselor Jarek, pale and amused in a way that unsettled me, lifted a brow. Let's begin, Jarek said. Mira Vale, step forward. Every cell in my body screamed, no thank you. Elias stepped half a pace with me, but Jarek lifted one hand. Alone, Jarek said. I don't do anything alone, I replied, especially not stand in front of a supernatural firing squad. Jarek's eyes gleamed. Fiery? She's fireborn, someone murmured. It makes sense. Well, I muttered, my father was iceborn, so hopefully that's balancing me out. The temperature in the room dropped like someone had ripped open winter. Silence, stillness, thousands of years of history pressing down on me. Bardem's voice came out low. Repeat that. My father? I said, confused. Yeah, apparently he was an alpha, frostborn. A ripple went through the council seats, shock, disbelief, dread, excitement. "You lie," Jarek said. "She does not," Elias said, voice like steel. "You knew?" Bardem demanded. "I suspected. And you brought her here anyway." "She is bound to me," Elias said, "and under my protection by blood contract." The counselors murmured. The phrase blood contract hit like a gunshot. Jarek rose, moving with liquid grace. He circled me like he was testing for weaknesses. "Fireborn from a sealed moonline mother," he murmured. "Frostborn father. And awakened by threat? Impossible. Dangerous. Weapons like her should not exist." "Okay, rude," I said. "I'm right here." "You will be silent," Jarek snapped. Something inside me snarled. Not mentally, not metaphorically. A literal, low rumble vibrated in my chest. Jarek took a step back. Elias's voice dropped into lethal quiet. "She will not be spoken to like a feral." "She is an unknown," Jarek hissed. "A risk. She is under my authority." "You lost a rogue into your gala," someone cut in. "He was aided," Elias shot back. "No rogue breaches my wards without internal help." Silence fell again. Internal help equals someone on the council. I felt it before I understood it. Every eye watching me was also watching Elias, calculating how the two of us together upset power balances. "Mira's power destabilizes alliances," Bardem said. "If word spreads, enemies will come for her." "They already have," Elias said, "which is why you will not touch her." "We don't need to touch her," Jarek said smoothly. "We need to categorize her." I frowned. "Categorize? What am I, a file folder?" "A classification determines your rights," Bardem explained. "Status, defenses, expectations." "Great," I muttered. "Put me down as tired." Jarek ignored me and lifted a rune-etched crystal. "Place your hand here," he said. "No," Elias said. "It is the standard evaluation." "No," Elias repeated. Bardem's gaze sharpened. "Blackridge, are you refusing council procedure?" "I am refusing an override of my bond." "And why?" Jarek said, voice dripping with false sweetness. "Do you believe she requires your presence for a simple test?" "Because," Elias said, stepping forward, energy crackling around him. "When she manifested last night, the bond activated. If you separate us during a power assessment, you risk triggering a defensive flare." "A flare?" Jarek scoffed. "She is untrained." "She threw a rogue 15 feet," Elias snapped, "without physical contact." The chamber went still. Every counselor stared at me anew, not with hunger now, with fear. "Impossible," Bardem whispered. "Apparently, I specialize in impossible," I said, trying not to collapse. Jarek recovered first. "Very well. The Alpha may remain beside her, but she must submit to the assessment." I breathed out. "Okay, fine. But if this crystal bites me, I am suing every one of you." Elias leaned toward me, voice low. "Don't overreach. Let the crystal read only what you allow." "I don't know how to do that." "Yes," he said, "you do." His hand brushed mine. The thread between us snapped taut. My flame steadied. I placed my palm on the crystal. Cold surged up my arm, ice, familiar from my dream. Then warmth, my flame pushing back. Moonlight, soft, subtle, layering inside me. The crystal lit up. Not one color, not two. 3. Silver, blue-white, red-gold. The chamber gasped. 3 bloodlines, 3 elements, 1 body. Impossible. Illegal. Prophesied. Bardem's voice shook. The triad line. Yarrick stepped back as if burned. It cannot be. It is, Elias said. The counselors looked between me and Elias with something shifting behind their eyes. Fear, wonder, calculation, and something else. Opportunity. Bardem sat down heavily. Mira Vale, your existence breaks our laws. My pulse stopped. But, Bardem continued, it also fulfills a prophecy older than any seat in this chamber. Elias stiffened. Do not speak of prophecy. We must, Bardem insisted, because she is not simply fireborn, or frostborn, or moonborn. His gaze locked on me. She is the bloodline catalyst, the one who can unify or destroy the packs. My mouth went dry. I didn't sign up for that. I can barely parallel park. You don't have to. Bardem exhaled heavily. Because your fate is already sealed. What fate? I demanded. Yarrick stepped forward, expression gleefully cruel. Your fate, he said, is to choose an alpha. And whichever alpha you choose will control everything. I froze. Control, I echoed. Control what exactly? Bardem closed the ledger. All of us, he said quietly. You carry the right to elevate an alpha to supreme rule. My throat closed. Choose a ruler? Choose, Yarrick purred. A king. The room swayed. I stepped back instinctively, right into Elias's chest. His arm wrapped around my waist, protective, absolute. Enough, Elias growled. She chooses nothing tonight, not while she's under my bond, and not while you circle her like vultures. This is law, Bardem said. This is exploitation, Elias snarled. Mira is not property, Elias said. She is... He cut himself off, but I felt the end of that sentence, burned with it. She is mine. What happens now? I whispered. Bardem's gaze softened with something like pity. Now, he said. Now, Mira Vale, the factions begin. Yarrick smiled. And every alpha in the territories will want you. My stomach dropped. For power? For domination, Yarrick corrected. And what about Elias? I asked. He, Bardem said, is now your shield. Yarrick's lip curled. Or your obstacle. Elias growled, deep, primal, claiming. Try me, he whispered. The counselors froze, because when he said it, the bond thread between us pulsed, bright, visible, alive. Bardem whispered one final verdict. The girl is not just bound to you, Blackridge. The bond recognizes her choice already. Silence slammed through the chamber. What choice? I asked. Bardem looked at me with a mixture of awe and apology. You've already chosen your alpha. My breath caught. Elias's hand tightened on my waist. Yarrick snarled.
Other counselors murmured. I whispered, "Who?" Bardem's eyes flicked to Elias, and he said, "The one fate tied your fire to." I always thought if fate ever knocked, it would at least send a calendar invite. Instead, it sent a room full of supernaturals staring at me like I was both a nuke and the launch button. The bond recognizes her choice already, Bardem had said. Like I'd chosen anything. Back at the safe house, I paced in front of the fireplace, still feeling the weight of the council's eyes on my skin. I didn't choose you, I said. No offense. Some taken, Elias murmured, leaning against the mantel. That's not what I mean. I scrubbed my hands over my face. I didn't choose anyone. I didn't wake up and go, "Hey, let me emotionally tether myself to the terrifying CEO wolf." His jaw ticked. The bond doesn't care what you think you chose. Oh, that's comforting. He pushed off the mantel and stepped closer. Mira. I backed up a step. Don't. Don't what? Don't look at me like that. You're doing the thing. What thing? The thing where your eyes go all soft, but your jaw is still in will commit murder mode, and my nervous system can't handle the mixed signals. His lips twitched despite everything. That is very specific. It's very accurate. He stopped, leaving a couple feet between us. The bond thread still hummed, bright and undeniable in my chest. You defended me, he said quietly, in the chamber. Yeah, well, they were being jerks, and also threatening my continued existence. I'm petty and survival motivated. Petty, he echoed, the word soft with something suspiciously like fondness. I glared. Do not make petty sound like a compliment. The council thinks you chose me, he said. Do you understand what that means? Apparently it means every power-hungry alpha now wants me dead, bribed, or bedded. His eyes flashed. They will not touch you. You can't protect me from everyone. Yes, he said. I can. The way he said it made my bones believe him before my brain could argue. I threw my hands up. Okay, so what's the plan, oh mighty protector? Because right now my options look like 1. Hide forever, 2. Become a political pawn, 3. Spontaneously combust from stress. Option 4, he said. We make you too dangerous to touch. I froze. Come again? Right now, you're a valuable resource, a catalyst. Factions will try to claim you. Yes, I got that part. But if you're perceived as unstable, untrained and unclaimed, he went on, they'll move faster. They'll risk more to get to you first. Fun. So, he said, we do the opposite. We show them you're not unclaimed, not untrained. We make it clear that taking you from me would be costly. I narrowed my eyes. This sounds suspiciously like PR. It is. For what? For our bond. My stomach did something traitorous. I thought this was a blood contract, I said weakly. It is also a bond, he said. And right now, the world thinks it's already chosen me. We should use that. Use me, I corrected. Use what is already true. I hated that settled something in my chest. I didn't decide on you, I insisted. I know, he said quietly. But your power did. Something hot and mortifying rose in my throat.
I changed the subject before my brain started replaying every moment I'd accidentally appreciated his jawline. What did Bardem mean about factions beginning? I asked. Elias's expression shuddered. Messages will go out. Some public, some not. Alphas will decide if I'm a threat to their power because you're with me. Some will seek alliance. Others will seek correction. Correction. I winced. That sounds very homicide adjacent. It is. A buzz cut through the air. Elias's eyes flicked to the side. They're early. Who? I demanded. He didn't answer, just moved to a wall panel and swiped it open. A hidden screen lit up, showing multiple camera feeds outside the safe house. Black SUVs. 3. All expensive. All wrong. My blood went cold. Please tell me that's Uber Black. One is Bardem's vehicle, Elias said. The others? Not officially sanctioned. So, unsanctioned alphas are showing up at your house 5 minutes after the council meeting? That seems healthy. He turned back to me, all business now. Go to the lower level. Stay in the training room. Do not open the door for anyone but me. I crossed my arms. No. His brows snapped together. No? You heard me. I'm not hiding in the murder dojo while strange men argue about who gets my sole custody. This isn't a debate. It is if I don't move. We stared at each other. Wolf versus woman. Alpha versus stubborn. Half of me expected him to order me, to pull rank, to remind me that technically I was bound to him. Instead, he exhaled. Long. Frustrated. Fine, he said, but you stay behind me. You do not speak unless spoken to, and if anyone reaches for you, they lose the hand. I finished. Got it. His eyes softened in that way that made my internal systems glitch. Stay close, Mira. You keep saying that, I muttered. Because you keep trying to run toward danger. I'm not running toward danger. I'm just refusing to run away from my own life. He looked at me for a beat, something like respect flashing across his face. Fair, he said. The foyer suddenly felt smaller with 3 alphas in it. Bardem, at least, was familiar, serious, controlled, ethical in the way that made him predictable. The other 2? Very much not. One was tall and broad, with a predatory smile and scars peeking up his neck from under his collar. His eyes were honey gold, but there was nothing sweet about them. The other was lean, sharp, half his dark hair shaved, tattoos curling up his throat. His eyes flickered between human brown and faint wolf amber, like he couldn't decide what to be. Blackridge, scarred alpha drawled. You been busy. Ronan, Elias said. You weren't invited. News like that? Ronan grinned. You can't expect me to stay home. Tattoo Alpha's gaze flicked to me. This her? Elias didn't look away from Ronan. You speak to me. Cute, Tattoo said. You think we're here for you. Bardem cleared his throat. We are not here to challenge Blackridge's authority. We are here to establish protocols for Mira's safety. Safety, Ronan repeated, practically tasting the word. Is that what we're calling it? His gaze dragged over me. I wanted to shrink back. I didn't. Don't look at her, Elias said, voice low. Hard not to, Ronan said. Power like that hums, even sealed. I'm unsealed now, I said, before I could stop myself.
And listening. Tattoo snorted. She's mouthy. Mira, Bardem warned gently. No, let her talk, Ronan said. If she's supposed to pick a king, I want to hear what she thinks of the candidates. Elias went absolutely still. We're not doing this, he said. She's under my bond. The council acknowledged it. And the council, Ronan said, doesn't get final say on instinct. Fated ties. Power bonds. My brain stuttered. Fated what now? Tattoo rolled his eyes. You really didn't tell her anything, did you? Her first day involved a blood contract, a rogue, and a council session, Elias said tightly. Forgive me for not adding, by the way, we might be fated to the list. The room spun. Fated? I repeated. Like, bonded? Ronan's grin widened. Oh, that's interesting. He didn't deny it. Because it isn't confirmed, Elias snapped. But you feel it, Ronan said. Don't you? I can smell it from here. Your wolf howls every time she moves. My pulse thundered. This isn't, no fate. I did not sign up for magical soulmates. It doesn't care what you signed, Tattoo said. You lit up the bond in a council chamber. That doesn't happen without roots. Enough, Elias growled. Ronan's gaze slid back to me, suddenly more focused, calculating. A triad line catalyst bound may be fated to the most paranoid alpha in the territories, he mused. This will be fun. Get to the point, Elias said. Ronan shrugged. The point is simple. You can't keep her locked up here, Blackridge. That'll make enemies faster. We need a joint protection treaty, rotating guards, shared intel, a say in where she goes and who she sees. So you want keys to my territory, Elias said, because she's in it. Yes, Ronan said bluntly. Absolutely not, Elias replied. Bardem pinched the bridge of his nose. If we don't share responsibility, other alphas will claim Blackridge is hoarding power. They'll move against him, and her. I'll kill them, Elias said. You'll try, Ronan said. And even if you win, she'll drown in the blood of a war she never asked for. Silence. They weren't wrong. I stepped forward before common sense could tackle me. Okay, I said. Question. 3 alphas and a counselor turned to look at me at once. It was a lot. I swallowed. Has anyone at any point considered asking me what I want? Tattoo snorted. Ronan looked amused. Bardem looked tired. Elias went very, very still. What do you want, Mira? Bardem asked. I could have said safety. I could have said normal. I could have said, I want my mom back and a life where my biggest problem is a bad Yelp review. Instead, I looked at Elias, at the way he'd stepped between me and danger every single time without thinking, at the way the bond quieted my chaos, at how my fire hadn't burned me when he was near. I don't know everything yet, I said slowly. But I know this. I don't trust any of you. Ronan chuckled. Fair. I don't trust the council fully. I definitely don't trust random ambitious alphas showing up at my house 5 minutes after a prophecy drop. I took a breath. But I do trust him. Elias's eyes snapped to mine. Enough, I added quickly. I trust him enough. Enough for what? Bardem asked. To be the one standing between me and everybody else, I said. You want protection protocols? Fine. Draft them. Negotiate them. Send them in triplicate. But any guard, any visit, any decision about my life goes through him. If he says no, it's no. If he says it's a trap, we treat it like one. That gives him unilateral control, Tattoo said. Good, I said. At least I know where the leash is. Ronan's brows rose. You'd put your life in his hands that completely? I held Elias's gaze. My heart hammered. My fire hummed. Looks like I already did, I said softly. Might as well admit it out loud. The bond thread between us blazed. Ronan swore under his breath. Tattoo muttered something that sounded a lot like, well, we're screwed. Bardem nodded slowly. Very well. The council will recognize Blackridge as primary shield. And the others? Elias asked. They can submit requests, Bardem said. But ultimately, Mira chooses. Didn't you say fate already chose? I asked. Bardem's mouth twitched. Sometimes fate just shows us where we were heading. Ronan shook his head, half exasperated, half impressed. This isn't over, he told Elias. You've just painted a target on your back twice as big. It was already there, Elias said. He wasn't wrong. Ronan and Tattoo eventually left with Bardem, doors hissing shut, leaving me and Elias alone in the foyer. The air crackled with everything unspoken. Why did you do that? He asked softly. Which part? I said. The part where I told off 3 alphas, or the part where I emotionally confessed in front of a political committee? He stepped closer, slow. The part where you chose me. I swallowed. Honestly? Because not choosing you felt worse. His throat bobbed. That's not how bonds are supposed to work, he said. They grow slowly. Root. Anchor. They don't just ignite. Well, I said, voice shaking but steady. Maybe we're not supposed to do anything the easy way. He huffed a broken laugh. Then his hand came up, fingers hovering near my cheek, not quite touching. Mira, he murmured. Tell me no. My heart thudded. Is that what you want me to say? No, he said honestly. But I need you to choose this. Not fate, not a contract. You. I looked at him, really looked at him. At the man who'd told an entire council no when they wanted to examine me like a lab rat. At the alpha who'd stood between me and a rogue with nothing but his body. At the wolf in a suit who wrapped blankets around traumatized girls and watched their doors in the dark. I already did, I whispered. I stepped forward. His hand slid to the back of my neck. Gentle, reverent. The opposite of every violent claim I'd imagined when he'd said mine. When his mouth met mine, the bond didn't just flare. It roared. Fire, frost, moonlight. For a moment, I wasn't just Mira Vale, traumatized PR consultant. I was every ancestor who'd survived, every line that converged in me, every element that refused to be sealed. And through all of it, Elias. Steady, grounded, fierce. Mine. We broke apart, both breathing hard. Well, I said faintly, that's one way to finalize a PR partnership. He rested his forehead against mine. This isn't PR, he said.
This is war.
Romantic, I muttered. His lips curved.
And you, Mira, you're the weapon they never prepared for.
And you?
He smiled, wolf-bright. I'm the one who'll make sure you never have to fight alone.
3 weeks. That's how long it took for my life to go from coffee-dependent PR consultant to walking elemental manifesto with a supernatural security detail and a very inconveniently attractive alpha shadow. 3 weeks of training, council negotiations, assassination attempts with terrible timing, and one rogue who kept sending Elias taunting messages like an ex-boyfriend who missed drama. I grew sharper, stronger, calmer. Well, calmer adjacent, let's not lie. But every day, something shifted in me. The fire in my chest didn't burn out of control anymore. The frost didn't creep up my arms unless I called for it. The moonlight hum under my skin? Soft, steady, waiting. I wasn't sealed anymore. I wasn't hidden anymore. I wasn't running anymore. I was choosing. And today, I got to say it out loud. The council summit was held in the same massive chamber where they'd once examined me like a very polite bomb. Now it felt different. Not safer, just smaller. Because I no longer felt like prey. Elias walked beside me, suit immaculate, jaw lethal, eyes constantly flicking toward exits and shadows. His hand brushed mine, the faintest graze, the bond humming warm between us like a heartbeat that wasn't just mine anymore. You don't have to do this, he murmured. Lies, I whispered back. I absolutely have to do this. He gave me a look that said he wanted to argue, but also didn't want to see me manifest a flame tornado out of anxiety. We reached the center. 9 counselors watched me, half the city's alphas seated behind them. Humans in the balconies above, unaware how thin the line was between their world and ours. Counselor Bardem rose. Mira Vale, he said, the triad-born catalyst. We gathered to determine the terms of your alliance, your future, and the balance of power. I stepped forward. My heels echoed across the stone. I spoke with the voice of my mother's daughter, and my father's daughter, and myself. No, I said. The chamber rippled. Elias's hand twitched, ready to pull me behind him if the room turned hostile. Bardem blinked. No? No, I repeated. We're not doing this like I'm an object, or a prize, or a prophecy someone misplaced. Yarrick scoffed. You don't get to refuse the role fate gave you. Watch me, I said. Gasps, growls, a few impressed snorts. I kept going. I know what I am now. I've seen what I can do. I've seen what people want me to do. And here's the thing. I'm not here to choose a king. Murmurs broke out across the room like a spark hit dry leaves. I lifted my chin. I'm here, I said, to choose myself. Then I turned slightly, just enough to let the silver-red thread between me and Elias flicker into view, only visible to shifters, but visible enough. And I choose who stands beside me. The chamber went quiet. Electric quiet. The kind that makes storms jealous. Someone, Rene probably, let out a low whistle. Well, I didn't expect fireworks before lunch. Yarrick leaned forward. You understand what you're doing? You're rejecting centuries of structure. No, I said. I'm rejecting the idea that my bloodline makes me property. His mouth snapped shut. Bardem exhaled slowly. And the alpha? I turned to Elias fully, not hiding, not flinching, not guessing. I don't know whether this is fate, I said softly, or blood, or choice, or something old enough to laugh at all three. His jaw tightened. But what I do know, I went on, is that every time I was attacked, you stepped in front of me. And every time I was overwhelmed, you steadied me. And every time I forgot who I was becoming, you reminded me. He swallowed. Hard. And not because a contract told you to, I added, but because you chose to. The bond pulsed, bright enough that several alphas flinched. So I choose you back, I said. Not as my owner, not as my ruler, as my partner. Elias rested a hand over his heart, like I'd struck something deep. The counselors stared at him. Alpha Blackridge, Bardem said cautiously. Do you acknowledge this claim? Elias stepped forward. His voice was quiet, dangerous, reverent. I claimed her the moment she walked into my office. Gasps, shifts, guttural murmurs. But, he added, eyes only on me. I accept her choice, not as my bound, but as my equal. The room erupted. Arguments, cheers, growls, a few "oh, hell no's." But Elias ignored them. He reached me in 3 strides, the air vibrating with the bond's pull. You didn't have to choose me, he said, low enough for only me to hear. I know, I whispered. But I did. Why? Because, I said, you didn't run from my fire. You protected it. His breath caught. And your power won't be easy, he warned softly. It might hurt. It might burn. It might change things you're not ready for. So, I said, lifting my chin. You're not exactly low maintenance either. A surprised sound escaped him, half laugh, half growl. Then, in full view of every alpha, every counselor, every witness, he pressed his forehead to mine. A vow, a promise, a warning, a beginning. Silver light flared behind my eyelids, moon warm and fire bright and frost cool. The bond sealed, not as a contract, not as fate, but as 2 choices made aloud. He pulled back just enough to meet my eyes. You realize, Elias murmured, this paints a bigger target on us. Good, I said. Let them come. I've been dying to test my new skill set. His smile went wicked. And Mira? Yeah? If you ever doubt your power, remember this moment. I smirked. Oh, trust me. I'll be replaying this like an embarrassing voicemail. He kissed me. Soft. Dangerous. Claiming without claiming. My fire didn't rage. It purred. When we finally stepped back from each other, the council chamber had gone eerily silent. Bardem cleared his throat. So, we're in the era of the catalyst and her alpha. I shrugged. Could be worse. Could it? Yerrick muttered. Elias curled his arm lightly around my waist. We're done here, he said. Unless anyone intends to challenge? Silence, because not a single alpha was stupid enough. As we walked toward the doors, I glanced back once, at the council, the crowd, my old life, my new one. Then I laughed softly to myself. If you told me a month ago I'd become the supernatural PR crisis of the century, I would have asked for a raise. But this was worth everything. Because I finally knew who I was. Mira Vale, Fireborn, Frostborn, Moonborn, Catalyst, Bonded, Chosen. Mine. And his. On my terms. And if anyone wanted to rewrite my story, they'd have to try burning me first. Good luck to them. If you believe fate can be rewritten, if you love a slow burn that turns into a wildfire, if you think a girl deserves an alpha who stands with her, not over her, hit subscribe and join me for the next chapter of chaos.